And right now we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick here with Scarlet Fu, taking you through to that closing bell with a global simulcast. It starts right now. Carol Massar in the radio booth. Matt Miller in today for Tim Stenovic as we welcome our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, television, radio, our partnership with YouTube, with the S&P, Carol Massar, at a record high. Small caps outperforming them all and big moves higher in Treasury yields.
I know. So what is it? Like just enthusiasm? Is it trade? Is it the deal? The massive spending and tax cut bill working its way through. I mean, it's pretty interesting to see this enthusiasm, and I'm just kind of again thinking about earnings that are coming up in a couple of weeks, whether or not it will support all of that. What?
You continue to do your best not to say one big, beautiful bill. That's what it's called, okay?
OBBB.
We've been going back and forth a little bit on
I like
this.
1B3. Look, I think
It's
you
marketing.
get
I have
some
a hard time
sense
with
of
that.
certainty, right? Every administration does marketing with massive legislation. We've seen that before with the, for example, the Inflation Reduction Act, which also didn't reduce inflation. But
Fair
the point
enough.
is you get a little bit more certainty here, and so people are willing to take more risk in this market.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see where it goes because right now it's still stuck in the House. They haven't really moved forward with that yet. So the next couple of hours is definitely crucial here. Don't forget, we also had the trade deal with Vietnam. So that's now, what, 3, right?
Yeah, they're going to pay us 20% tariffs on all the goods they ship here.
40%
which is
for
a
the
relief.
transshipment, right?
Yeah.
Is that how it works? Okay. All right. Well, we do get some news on the trade front that is a net positive for stocks, assuming that there is follow through and that bill working its way through Congress, that big budget bill. Hitting some sticking points as House Republicans try to sort out the nitty-gritty. But right now, the betting is that will somehow make it to the president's desk over the next few days. We take a look at the markets here on this Wednesday afternoon. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is going to finish out the day unchanged, but you had a lot of activity for the other indices on the day. An S&P 500 back above 6,200, up 29 points or 0.5% to a record high. A NASDAQ 100 at a fresh record high. A NASDAQ Composite up almost 200 points or 1% on the day. And a Russell 2000 outperforming them all with a gain of about 29 points or 1.3%.
Yeah, nice to see that, right? Going back to the S&P 500, guys, 286 names higher in the S&P 500 today, Scarlett, 213 to the downside.
All right, let's take a look at the IMAP. A pretty mixed day, although there are more advancers than decliners when you look at the industry groups. Energy stocks gaining 1.7%. They're the best performers, followed by materials and tech, each gaining more than 1%. Your laggards are healthcare, and that's really on the back of Centene plunging, and utilities as well as financials, which had gotten boost in recent days.
All right, guys, let's go to some outperformance that we've seen. I want to go to actually an index, the S&P Global Clean Energy Transition Index. I wanted to pull that up because that is up about 1.7% higher today after U.S. excise tax seen as an existential threat to the solar and wind industry was stripped from the Senate GOP tax mega bill that passed the chamber in that tie-breaking vote yesterday. Goldman Sachs index of renewables, by the way, trading at a fresh 2021 high. Renewable stocks around the globe we've seen rally also because we had another story on the Bloomberg that just talked about these green-related stocks, despite being so much under pressure by the Trump administration, enjoying their best quarter in almost half a decade. So I just wanted to pull that out. We saw a bunch of names in this sector higher. In fact, First Solar, let's go to that one, up 4.6% at the close. It was up as much as about 9.5% earlier in the session. It's a top gainer in the S&P 500. So again, having to do with that Senate budget bill that passed through and some of that excise tax, as we said, pulled back. Yeah, we saw those names going higher. Sorry, I'm really tired today.
Carol's having a tough day.
I'm having a tough day.
But the good news, Romaine, this is her last day in the office this week.
You guys are going to have to carry the mantle tomorrow. Tesla, let's go to Tesla, up 5%, a top gainer in the NASDAQ 100, the second top gainer in the NASDAQ 100, again, up about 5%. Carmaker posted a less drastic decline in vehicle sales than most pessimistic analysts feared. It was down 13% from a year earlier, but some had thought it could be down maybe more than 20%. So kind of a sigh of relief for those Tesla folks. All right. Take it away.
All right, I am looking at the losers, and Tesla's not one of them, even though those deliveries really massively missed what people have been expecting. So anyway, Centene is, I think, the big story. I had a huge argument with my open interest co-host, Katie Greifeld, this morning. I wanted to do this story, and she was like, who's heard of Centene? Well, it's a $28 billion insurer that has 28 million customers. It's gotten rocked because of that big, beautiful bill. Most of Centene's business is Medicare or ACA, and that obviously being scaled back, and this is going to result in earnings headwinds of as much as $1.8 billion. A lot of analysts, or at least two that I saw this morning, cutting their view on the health insurer, maybe more now that we're at the close.
It really goes to the idea that these health insurance companies have been so consistent with being able to project out what their financials look like that when they can't, this is the kind of reaction they get.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're bringing down a lot of other healthcare companies with them. Molina, I haven't pulled these up, but Molina, Elevance, Oscar Health are all big losers today. I want to move on to Intel because the chip maker is off at the close after Reuters reported that the CEO, Lip Bhutan, is exploring a potential strategy shift in the foundry business that would entail no longer making or marketing certain chip making technologies to external customers. Reuters citing people familiar there. We haven't independently confirmed it, but you can definitely see that the shares are off 4.25%. And then I think Adobe is an interesting loser today because of a big winner, right? Figma is expected to be one of the biggest IPOs this year. It almost got sold for $20 billion a couple of years ago. So it's a software design startup. It only has like less than 250 million in revenue a quarter, so I guess $1 billion a year. 20 times sales seems, I guess, okay for this kind of what I'm told is a very sticky software service that could really impinge on Adobe and compete with that company. And that's why Adobe is having a tough day in the market today, down 3.5%.
All right, a lot of activity in the equity market today, but even more activity when it comes to bonds. Treasury yields, bear steepening on the day. As you see the mismatch there between what we see on the shorter end of the curve and the longer end of the curve. Yields higher on your 2-year by only about a basis point, but up about 4 to 5 basis points when you go from 10 to the 30-year levels. We should point out some of this is related to some of the fiscal issues going on here in the U.S. and some of this, of course, a bit of a rollover from what transpired over in the U.K. earlier today with some concerns about the fiscal situation in the U.K. and whether their equivalent of the Treasury Secretary, Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, will keep her job.
Yeah, some big news out of there and certainly volatility in the markets there. Hey, listen, something that's causing some volatility in our world is artificial intelligence. And there's a great story by the Press Association about Wimbledon and their use of AI line calling, so artificial intelligence line calling. And a former top Wimbledon line judge has basically hit out at this and said, doesn't like the switch to these automated calls, saying, Matt, that it makes the court, quote, look like bad Photoshop. And this is Pauline Eyre. She's from North London, and she doesn't like it.
She doesn't like it? I mean, I get it. Why would Wimbledon do this? They still make people wear all white. So, stick with the old, stick with the traditional. But, of course, they already have the Cyclops and have had it for, what, 2 decades?
Yeah, I mean, this seems a little bit like sauerkraut. I mean, I understand why she would be upset, but the idea here is that it's more accurate. And it doesn't really seem to address that issue, which is, of course, the tennis players that for years argued about this idea about the human fallibility of these calls and if you can use technology. And look, we've seen this play out in other sports, right? Whether it's MLB, whether it's in the NFL, where you can take certain elements of the game, rely more on computers and cameras and other things to ensure that what's being called is actually supposed to be called.
We'll never have a moment where John McEnroe yells at the line judge and throws a major fit like he did in 1981 at Wimbledon.
That's the most important. Look, I think
viral moments.
In other sports, it's great, right? You want AI calling offsides in soccer because it's frustrating when that call is bad, but you also want to see John McEnroe throw his racket, don't you?
Well, who wants to see dinosaurs this weekend? Jurassic World Rebirth opens today. This is the 7th movie in the Jurassic Park franchise. I like the first one. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones.
I have not seen any of them since the first one.
There's ScarJo. She's in it. Jonathan Bailey from Bridgerton, also in it.
All right. Good-looking people and dinosaurs.
And dinosaurs. It should be the other way around. It should be good-looking dinosaurs. Oh, and some people.
Let's go to the movies. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Have a good and safe holiday. Our cross-platform radio, TV, YouTube, Bloomberg Originals. Matt and Romaine will be back here, right? Closing the bell tomorrow.
I hope he's ready to chill with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, maybe he's
I like
ready
to take
to
my
chill with him.
time, you know?
Yeah.
I like to marinate on things.
All right, well, they're going to continue on TV. We're going to continue here on radio. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.